Okay, let's come back to getting into companies in the first place. Like
Yes.
like like we mentioned, you didn't do it through campus and then went off campus. So, can you share some insight on how you crack interview rounds? Because while there's a lot of information about this through companies that come to college, it's not very well known what the process looks like for someone who's applying after graduation, for example. So, could you share some insights on this process?
Yeah, for sure. So, once again, as I said, if you have the option to go for, say, campus placement, that should always be the number one way to get through into your career path because interviews are easier at a campus placement site because, well, I mean, various college deals and whatnot, companies are more likely to want to hire you. Whereas if you are going off campus, they are more likely to want to eliminate you. So cracking the interview rounds does become a little more difficult in this sense. However, of course, I think I think if you look at an interview as an exam, which I think a lot of us fail to do. We look at an interview as the easy part for whatever reason, because getting the interview is tough. And once you've got the interview, you sort of take it easy. However, the interview is the exam, in my opinion, and you really, really have to prepare for it. Now, of course, in my case, I was applying for product management. This was not the ideal path for me to go off of in my first step in my career after a computer science degree. And of course, after my ISEC work as well, it would sort of put me in a place where I did not know what I was doing at all. So sort of understanding who I am and being able to communicate that in the most effective way possible was the first thing I sort of zeroed in on. Because obviously, the first question you get asked in any interview as well is, well, who are you? And all of well, the things that come along with that. So that was one of the first things I prepared on, to be able to clarify to anyone I spoke with as to why I'm choosing product management and what are the different experiences I have had in my life, professionally, personally, that led me to this particular space. So that was one of the first things I did. And second, of course, I started doing a lot of research into what product management interviews look like. What do companies want? I did a lot of research into what the company Nuclear that I was applying to wanted. I did research into their products. I understood what are the key metrics they sort of work on, and I tried to look at identifying questions for myself from the lens of being an employee at Nuclear already. So once I put myself in that headspace, it was easy for me to sort of try and understand what are the different pitfalls the company should be focusing on, what are the uh, success points that the company already has. And once I had this clear in my head, of course, it became a lot easier for me to walk into an interview because at this point, I'm facing somebody who understands the company a little more than me, but I also have a certain amount of understanding to hold a conversation with them as an equal of sorts. And that was sort of the other thing I focused on. And the third thing that I sort of focused on was, of course, the very generic space of product management interviews, which you can very easily sort of identify and crack by watching certain YouTube videos. I was using this YouTube channel called Exponent. They do a lot of product management interviews, and it was great, honestly. Just going through those videos and understanding how people have answered certain questions really helped me come to terms with and accept what this exam was going to be like that I was heading into.
Okay. Very concisely put answer, considering the amount of topics you covered in that. But I think there's a whole, obviously, conversation for another day. And an
Yeah.
entire podcast should be made out of, I think, preparation and all the things that are part of the interview and how you prepare for it. But
Yeah.
we'll take it up some other time.